Okay. Sadnam, aloha. Thank you for your patience. And I just want to check to see if I'm on here. And I am. Okay. Okay. Wow, what a day. And maybe you're feeling it too, this Uranus and the Sun conjunction, like your fingers in the socket, and there's so much to do. And so I'm going to see how this goes because I'm not super prepared well, not as prepared as I usually am. So I'm just going to go with it. Okay? So let's prepare to tune in with the Adi Mantra. So Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. So bring your palms together and rub them. And bring your hands into prayer pose at your heart center. And take a few long, deep breaths through the nostrils. So breathing deep into the belly. And exhaling all the air out. And bringing all your energy into this present moment. So not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, not thinking about what's going on right now. Just become silent. And inhale deeply. Exhale. Inhale to the base of the spine. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgare Namah, Shagadgare Namah, Satgare Namah, Sadgurudeva Namah. Adgare Namah, Shagadgare Namah, Satgare Namah, Sadgurudeva Namah. Adgare Namah, Shagadgare Namah, Satgare Namah, Sadgurudeva Namah. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and press your palms together. Focus at your third eye, the point between your brows. And exhale and relax your hands down. Okay, so welcome everybody. And what do I want to talk about today? Okay, so I've tuned in. I've got a few notes here so I don't miss any of the important points. So Uranus has moved in to the shadow of selfishness, and this is the gift of altruism or generosity. And this is the 27th gene key if you're familiar with the gene keys. And that moved from, actually moved in there April 14th, 2019 until March 2nd, 2021. So it's there for quite a while. So we know that if you follow astrology, right, that Uranus moved into Taurus, and this is a big deal. But it also moves through 5 more shadow patterns in the next 7 years. So it really gives it a different flavor, right, of each one, a different flavor of Taurus. It's like different infusions, aromatherapy. Basically, it's the same oil, but you got cinnamon oil and lemongrass oil and lavender oil and tea tree oil and, all these kinds of different oils. So it really gives you a deeper connection to the energies of astrology, these shadow patterns and gifts. And the other day I was really meditating on how to communicate to people about why this information, why this transmission has value for people, right? So I thought of like when humans started sailing, right, across the seas. They learned that it was easier not to make an effort like a rowboat, right, but to actually harness the energy that's already there, the winds, right? So throw a sail up and move with the wind, maneuver, right, maneuver with the wind. So that's what shadow astrology is. It's like, let's look at the energy that's here and let's move with it and maneuver it to get where we want to go. Evolution, right? Enlightenment, nirvana, awakening, self-realization, whatever you want to call it. So why is Uranus so important to track? Well, it's the granddaddy of the Aquarian Age, right? Uranus rules Aquarius for one, and it's actually the father of Saturn, right? And Saturn, it rules Capricorn, but it rules the status quo, the ruler of our conditioning, right? Our present patriarchal conditioning, our society, our government, our banks, the tax system, the police, the military, the medical system, the educational system, politics, right? All of our institutions, our so-called outer authorities, right? So how all our systems are structured. So Uranus comes along and says, listen, son, Saturn, these structures that you've built, the patriarchy, all these hierarchies, all the other archies, they only really benefit the top of the food chain, right? We need to create new structures that serve everyone equally. So these sandcastles here that you built, I'm kicking them down. That's what Uranus says. So that's what's happening now. And we can see it out in the world. If you've got this eye, right, you can see all of this if you're an open third eye. I don't even think you need to have an open third eye to see what's going on. It's so obvious now that all of these institutions are coming down so that we can create something that serves us all in the planet. And that includes all sentient life, not just humans, right? This is animals, the sea creatures, the plants and the minerals, everyone, right? No one left behind. So Uranus is the great liberator, the awakener. And this is your personal unconscious, or in yogic technology, we call this your subconscious mind, right? This is the storehouse of all of your memories, right? So this is bursting through the repressive nature of Saturn. Saturn represses and delays and slows things down. So, for example, I want to use an example. I think the Pluto and Libra people will like this example. So say that you're in love with two people at the same time, and you really like to be with both of them, right? Maybe you're into polyamory. So these desires come up, right? The situations come up, the environment comes up, and Saturn says, nope, society does not approve because it doesn't follow tradition, right? The tradition of marriage, right? One man, one woman together, right? That's marriage. So Saturn will not be able to repress your authenticity anymore, your authentic desires, your authentic self, right? This is what Uranus wants to liberate. So, so we're going to see a radically different society in the future for the Aquarian Age, where our uniqueness is celebrated, right? Uranus wants us to be our unique self. There's 7 billion people on the planet, but there's only one you, right? And we have to be our authentic self now. So that's all being stripped away. All those Saturnians, I should, and what's tradition and what's socially acceptable, those sorts of things are all going to start to crumble down. So Uranus transforms everything it touches, and if you know astrology and your house system, whatever Uranus moves through, it radically transforms that area of your life. And I mean, I can speak from experience. When I started really getting into astrology, I've always dabbled, but I really started to study it more in 2012. And just it went through my ninth house, and it's just like it totally, the day of, boom, I was in the ninth house, completely getting liberated, right, from my belief systems, traveling, rethinking religion, rethinking my spiritual path, all of it, right? You can see it on YouTube, where, from my earliest videos, 2009 until now, right? I wore the turbinator. I was totally into that, you know, that paradigm. And now I feel completely liberated as myself, but still, like, I feel like I have a deeper connection to my own divinity. So it'd be worth your while to learn a little bit about that yourself. Okay? So it touches everything it touches, it just liberates, right? Radical liberation, radical changes, whether you want it or not. So we know that it's the ruler of Aquarius, right? The age of Aquarius that we're coming upon. And let's look at the symbol of Aquarius. I wish I had an image here for you to see, but it's the water bearer. You see the man, sometimes a woman, the water bearer, giving nourishment to others. So that's a key word for this particular gene key, the 27th gene key, is nourishment. Nourishment. So this isn't just food and drink, but spiritual nourishment that's rooted in love. And that's what we've forgotten as a society. That's what people have forgotten. What it's like to be in the presence of love. What it's like to be in the presence of love. And this is love without conditions, right? To be cared for and caring towards others. This is our true human nature. This is the true quality of the human, is caring, right? So it's even in the Bible, right? Man cannot live by bread alone. We need love. We need that nourishment. We need meaning. We need purpose. We need to know that our life has meaning. And do you ever ask yourself that? Maybe a sleepless night, right? Why am I here? Why am I here on this planet? Right? Why am I hurling through space in this planet? And who am I really? Who am I beyond this ego, beyond this mind, beyond this body? And these questions are going to become more and more in the consciousness, the human consciousness, as the years go by. Yogi Bhajan talked about this as we go more and more closer into the Aquarian Age. There's going to be this emptiness, right? People feeling empty because they don't feel nourished, right? We can't be nourished by our material things anymore, and our titles and our status and by our ego. Our ego can't nourish us the way that we long to be nourished. So this gene key, it's also about our values, right? It connects with the 50th gene key, and that creates a channel, if you know human design. And this is about our values as a humanity. And I really think, I was thinking about this, that the masses in the future, like way, way in the future, they're going to look back at this time, right? During these 2,000 years. And they're going to see it as barbaric, right? They'll look back and, humanity, they all seem to have a mental illness. They were mentally ill. They were addicted to collecting these pieces of paper. And then they played this game, right? They played this game where they ran after these pieces of paper so that they could have food and shelter and clothing, right? And the greedy ones with all the paper, they set the values. They set the systems. They were the masters, and everyone else, they were the slaves, right? We think that we've moved out of slavery. I mean, there's still literally slaves on the planet, but we're really in a culture, a whole planet of masters and slaves. So this is why we need a spiritual revolution. We don't need a political revolution or an economic revolution. We need a spiritual revolution, because all of these shadow patterns are going to pop up everywhere until we deal with them, right? Until we transmute them as a species, right? And it's like Notre Dame, if you follow that. And please watch my Jupiter video that I did, like the last one I did, because it will go more into this. Jupiter in retrograde is all about reevaluating our beliefs, and it has to do with religion, right? Jupiter rules religion and higher knowledge, and this we're seeing it, right? We're also the shootings in Sri Lanka, the Catholic churches. That's all part of this play that we're in right now. So look at Notre Dame, right? It was burning in flames. All the top 1%, the billionaires, they all come together and they raise, I don't know, they raised over $1 billion. It's probably more in a couple hours, right? But for a building. And you can call it whatever you want. It's a building. It's a finite. It has a birth, has a death. It will crumble. It's not real, right? It's part of the Maya. But anyway, a couple hours, right? All that money is raised. But when it comes to the needy and the homeless in their own country, there's no money. We don't have any money for that, right? So the values are warped right now. It's loving things and using people, right? Loving things and using people instead of using things and loving people. So people in the future will go like, well, you mean they could have fed everyone? They could have provided security, food, and housing. They had enough resources to do all that, and they did nothing? Why? Why did they allow this greed, this sickness to spread across the world? And why didn't they help those greedy people, right? Let go of that illness. There's going to be like this compassion towards these greedy people because they're mentally ill and not being helped. There's going to be a lot of whys in the future. And the answer really is shadow, right? This world is run by shadow, and that's our fears in the unconscious mind. And our shadows keep us asleep and unconscious to our true identity, right? That we're powerful spiritual beings having human experiences, right? The shadow keeps us away from that. It keeps us in the Maya. So this is really about what we're letting go of, right? We're letting go of these deep, deep fears, these ancestral fears now. So Uranus is going to liberate us from our selfishness. That's the shadow, our selfishness as a species. And just think, right? There's over 7 billion people on the planet, and people are saying they're lonely and they feel isolated. That in itself, 7 billion of us running around this planet, and a lot of people say they're lonely and feeling isolated. That in itself shows us what a selfish species we are. So Uranus is going to liberate us from that and liberate us from these values, like liberate the true values, the things that we really value. This is, right, Uranus and Taurus is about reevaluating what are your values? What do you value in life, and are you living to those values? So I know, right, I want to talk about the other version of the shadow of selfishness, because I'm sure, right, you that are watching out there are not in the same school as that. But there's also another version of selfishness, and this is not valuing yourself, right? It's giving to the wrong people, right? So I'm sure that you can relate to this one. So so when you're in this shadow of called self-negation, right? Not considering yourself, also selfishness, that you feel guilty. So you give away your power by giving to the wrong people, and this depletes your resources and your health, right? This is the light workers that are out there helping, and then their bank account is like down, even going into debt, right? And their health going too, right? So this is all part of this shadow pattern. And you may feel used and taken advantage of by others, right? And this is because you're afraid to look at the shadow, right? And the shadow is low self-worth. So look at your shadow of low self-worth. That's what's driving this. So what do? You attract people who take advantage of you so that you can feel it, right? You attract who you are. So if you have this deep shadow within you, I don't value myself, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve prosperity, abundance, and all good things, then that signal is sent out, and then boom, you start attracting these people taking advantage of you, not valuing you, taking. It's never enough. They always want more. They get angry that you're not giving enough, that sort of dynamic. So with shadow work, it's like, okay, I'm not going to blame these people anymore. I'm not going to it's them, and why are they doing this to me? It's to take it as a messenger. They're a messenger, and they're sending you a message. And the message is to go inside and to feel that shadow, right? Of oh, that low self-worth and not feeling I have any value and all of that, and go deep with it. And it could be, from other lifetimes, and it could be from your ancestors too, right? But it's a wound inside you to look at. So let's lift it up. So that's the shadow, and I have solutions, right, for you. Because somebody emailed me the other day, and she was really upset, and she said I don't like all this. This was when she received my newsletter. So my newsletter is all about, right, just taught a brief little rundown of the shadow pattern, and then I direct people to the video, right? And she was just feeling overwhelmed. She said, I'm overwhelmed. I'm doing mantras and I'm doing meditations and I'm watching my thoughts and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like you're just throwing something else on me to do. And so I want to say this to people. I'm not here to frighten people, and I'm not here to motivate people through fear. I'm here to give a context of what's happening in our world, and for us to maneuver that wind, right? Use that wind, the energies that are here now, and to move us forward, because we're all being moved forward into our evolution, right? You are not the same person you were. Go back to 2012, 2011. You're not the same person. So I want to make sure that I'm giving practical solutions for people too, right? That you're not left high and dry with all of this information. What do I do with all of this? But practical little tools that you can use, to move forward. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by, meditations and yoga and affirmations and this and that, that means let go. You need to let go, right? You need to really let go. Because if you really just surrender into the energy, it's going to take you anyway, right? But this way you're participating, because don't we want to participate? We're co-creators. We want to participate with this energy too. And it helps to understand, right? It helps to understand. It's okay, here's where I can focus my energy, right? It's an efficient way to move through time and space. I don't know why I mentioned that. I guess somebody needed to hear it or out there. So let's go to the gifts, and we'll elevate it up. So it's altruism and generosity. That's the gift. So universal law of prosperity, to give is to receive, right? To give is to receive. And even the religions, right, they were tapped into that truth, right? That truth. To give is to receive. They call it tithing. But where the corruption came was you need to give to us, right? They dictate who you give to us, right? You give to us. You give to the church. And really, the law is to give to wherever you feel called to give. It doesn't have to be your church or religion. It doesn't have to be anything dictated, right? That's motivating people through fear. But there's a universal law there, right? The quintessence in that is to give is to receive. So selfishness, and remember, it's when you negate yourself, that's also in this umbrella of selfishness, It cuts you off from the whole. Because when you're not valuing yourself, where are you giving? You're not giving from your heart. You're giving your power away. You're giving from your third chakra, right? So the other version of selfishness is to give from your mind, tit for tat, right? If I get political giving, I give this politician all this money, and then they write laws that benefit me and my corporation, right? That's the tit for tat. It's giving with an agenda. And your giving is giving your power away. And there's no power, and that's why something's got to pay. And that's your resources go down, 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 down. Bank account goes down, down, down. Health goes down, 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 because you're paying with your prana of your body, right? So this is actually detrimental to your evolution, right? Selfishness is detrimental. It actually harms you and the whole of humanity. So what do I want to say about that? So to give is to receive. And I talked about this before in the prosperity program, is when you give to the whole, when you give from your heart and you feel that yearning, that impulse within you to give, trust it. Like really trust it when it's coming deep inside you, because it's the soul. The soul wants to give. The soul yearns to give because the soul gets this. The heart gets this message. To give is to receive. And then it opens up this flow, right, of love. And then the prosperity comes, and the better health comes, and the abundance comes when you just freely give. And I know it's difficult to get into this new paradigm when we're actually in this old paradigm, like based on fear, So the power animal here is the dolphin. And I love this picture because he's with the seal. So every time there's a power animal for every gene key, but there's 3. So there's one connected to the shadow, one connected to the gift, and one connected to the city. So so really interesting, I'll get to the story in a second, is this the dolphin is the gift, and then the seal is the city. Isn't that cool? And the shark is the shadow. Yeah, the shark is the shadow. So dolphins teach us to live as a collective, because that's where we're going. We're going from me consciousness, me, mine, me, to we consciousness. And this is not we, me and my family, me and my tribe, me and my religion, me and my community, me and my country. We is the whole planet. That's where we're going to. We as one human tribe, and then eventually in the future, it's going to be we, Earth, planet Earth, and everything on it. That's the big we, right? That's where we're heading towards. So we really need to learn to live in a collective. We've got to shift our paradigm now and start to really consider, that's another key word of this gene key, consider everyone else around us, while considering ourselves first, right? So when you serve yourself, you're going to serve the whole as well, right? Like nourishing yourself in a real way. So we're moving from me to we for the Aquarian Age. And isn't it true that we're so touched by altruism and generosity when we see it, right? When a human sacrifices their own well-being for the benefit of another. Or we see it out, in the animal world, right? So many people I watch this on they watch a little baby cat lost her mother, and then this tiger comes or a mother dog comes and takes care of the kitty cat, right? This species love, right? It's a sacrifice. We're very touched by that, aren't we? Right? When we see that kind of sacrifice, that selflessness, right? There's no benefit for that the dog to do that, right? It's just part of our nature. It's part of our human nature too. Okay. So dolphins, they have what's called a pod mind, P-O-D, pod mind. And so this means that they're all connected to this one mind. So one of them is in trouble, right? One that's communicated to the pod mind, and then all the rest of the other dolphins, they come to help. They come to help that dolphin. So they're connected, and we have the same thing. I think I talked about this in the last video. The internet is, we got to see these things outside of ourselves. That's how humans work, right? But the real technology is inside each one of us. So the internet is a reflection of the one mind, the group mind, that we're all connected already. And I've got an interesting story about that. This was way back when I lived in Vancouver, and I was, what was I doing? I was at home just doing my thing, working on the computer, and all of a sudden I felt this urge to call my friend up, right? To call my friend on the, remember when we used to phone and people actually picked up the phone and talked to one another instead of texting? Well, that's what happened. And I called her and I said, hey, what's going on? And she started crying. And she said, I was so low and down. And she said, she put like a prayer out, and she goes, the next person who calls me, they're an angel, right? And so I'm not saying like, oh, I'm an angel and I've got special powers, but I listen to my intuition. And this happens, this is this mind, this group mind that I'm talking about, the divine mind, that we're all connected. And you must be feeling this more and more. Like it's coming really strong for me. It's like people just popping into your head, or you're thinking about people. But we can be angels for one another if we answer the call. And answering right, somebody gets on the telephone in the divine mind network and calls up for help, so that we can be angels for one another, right? That's like an example of the pod mind, but that divine mind for humans, you know? So it's not about, we're the angels, what I'm trying to say. It's not something out there from the heavenly realms and the angels are going to come down and Jesus is going to come down and all that. It's we're the ones that we've been waiting for, like the Hopi prophecy talked about. So the dolphins are very social, and they're cooperative, and that's the other part of this new Aquarian paradigm. It's not competition. That's the old Piscean paradigm. It's cooperation. And this is really honoring each person, right? It's such a lack mentality to compete with one another for scraps, and crumbs. It can bring out the worst in humanity. I'm not talking about the Olympics and where we rise to our excellence and where competition, that's the higher frequency of competition. I'm like the dog eat dog world, right? That version, the lower frequency of competition and fear that there's not enough for everybody. And that's a big lie. That's part of our conditioning, that there's not enough for everybody. There's enough. It's the infinite, right? The infinite, no beginning, no end. There's enough for everybody and more. So the other thing that the pod does is they protect the mother. They protect the mothers, right? So the mother has a little calf, and if she's around a predator, they come and they circle and they protect the mother. What do we do to mothers? We kick them to the curb, right? Oh, you have no use to us. You can't fit into the capitalist system, right? The structure, right? You have to fend for yourself. So, right, again, this is the higher frequency of this group consciousness, that we come together. It takes a tribe to raise a child, The other thing that they do is, and there's been instances of this when I was doing my research on the dolphin, is the shark, and that's the shadow of this gene key. Isn't that interesting? That they stand up to the sharks. So they've actually protected humans. Pods of dolphins have circled when there's a shark attack trying to get at this human. And then the dolphins come and they form this circle, right? They form a circle and they protect the human from the shark, right? So they do things like that. right? How does that benefit the dolphin? There's no benefit. It's coming from a deeper place, right? What else? Oh, we can't forget joy, right? The playfulness and the joy with dolphins. I don't know. I forgot that one. To actually enjoy our life, right? And just to know, like, just feel that deep in your bones that I'm being taken care of. Life is taking care of me. If you write it, you'll drop your shoulders when you let that in, that truth in, that I'm being taken care of, right? All my material needs are being taken care of, right? Even though I can't see it, maybe I don't see it, I have to trust it. I have to trust it, and then you'll see it, right? We only see things when we believe it. We've got to believe it first, and then we'll see it, not the other way around. So I'm being taken care of. So how do I want to give, right? How do I want to give? Because my soul wants to give something, right? And only you know what that is, and it doesn't necessarily mean all your resources and empty your bank account. It's giving your presence, it's giving your authentic self, it's giving your attention, giving a smile, a kind act, right? But without any reward, not even expecting a thank you or a smile back. Just giving just for the sake of giving. So you want to be a giver, right? The ego is a taker. What can I take from this experience for myself? We see that with the selfies, right? Like people are going to concerts now and they've got their phones up. They're not even in the moment. That's taking the experience. I'm going to take this experience so that I can watch it and show all my friends, oh, look at me. You know, that's taking. It's like, how can I give to this experience? And the best thing you can give is your presence and your attention. And just do this, like move in the world as a giver, and you'll be shocked at how people will be drawn to you like flies. They'll just be all around you, right? Because they can feel that you're present. You're giving, right? You're giving your energy in this way. That's altruistic. Okay. Look at me. I thought I had nothing to say. What else do I want to talk about this? I think it's time for the meditation. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. So the meditation is Kirtan Kriya. Okay, Kirtan Kriya, which is Yogi Bhajan talked about this meditation, and he said if all the teachings were lost, all the Kundalini Yoga teachings were lost, we had nothing left, we had no yoga sets and no meditations. As long as we had one meditation, we would be okay and we could get through to the Aquarian Age, and that was Kirtan Kriya. Kirtan Kriya. So when in doubt, go to Kirtan Kriya. It's like when in doubt with technology, you always reboot, restart, right? And then it clears everything up. That's what Kirtan Kriya is. It's like a reboot. Okay, I'm in doubt. I don't know what to do right now. I'm feeling under it. I'm feeling in my shadow pattern. I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling terrorized. I'm feeling small and constricted. Go to Kirtan Kriya. Okay? Okay. I just want to see what people are saying here. Give my voice a rest. Okay. New Zealand. Lack of love from childhood makes it hard to find a partner. Yes, and you got to love yourself. You got to love yourself. And then you'll find, this is so my inner child program is if you don't love yourself, if you don't love that little inner child inside you, Aubrey, like little Aubrey inside you, if you don't love little Aubrey, then you're moving through the world, and that little Aubrey is looking for love, like looking for love through other people, and it's a turn off to other people. They can feel it. Or, oh, this person's desperate or whatever, but it's your little inner child that wants love, but she wants it from you. She doesn't really want it for someone else. So when you love yourself, this is like Aquarian Age, right? The relationships in the Aquarian Age are going through a radical transformation too, that we have to be whole unto ourselves, that we don't need that partner. You know, all those bad songs are going to disappear. I'll die without you, and all those sappy codependent songs out there. They're my better half and this and that. It's codependence, and it's sick, right? There's another part of our sickness, is that we have everything we need inside of us. And when we truly love ourselves unconditionally, then we attract a partner that's the same. And then we're choosing to be with that person. We're not there for karmic reasons. We're not there to heal our inner child. A lot of us are healing our inner children through a relationship, and then we have babies, so we can see our inner child right there on the external, right? So that's where to put your energy, Aubrey, is like to really just love that little Aubrey inside you and to love yourself. Okay. And that's the other thing I want to say before we meditate is in the spirit of giveness and generosity and altruism that I did a webinar, I think it was in 2015. I'm wearing the turban then, in 2015. It's called, what did I name it? Like, be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. So it's on my, and the other announcement is I have a new website that I've been working on, and it's called shadowastrology.com. But I'm going to link my CATALYSTYOGI.com to Shadow Astrology. So just to keep it simple and easy, like, you can go to CATALYSTYOGI.com, and it's right on the main page. I put it right on my front page, and it says free webinar, and you just click, and it will click to Shadow Astrology, and then you can watch it there. And I'm not asking for email addresses. It's no trap or anything, right? You can freely watch it. And I watched a bit of it, and there's some really good things in there that's still relevant. So how to be your own best friend, how to nourish yourself, right? Okay. Yeah. Angie B, I'm just talking generally, right? There's an exception to everything. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So, Kirtan Kriya. We're going to do it old school with me leading. Okay. So, Kirtan Kriya works with the subconscious mind. So, remember, we're clearing up our subconscious mind from memories, right? These can be like beliefs and things like that. Habits get formed in the subconscious mind. I don't want to go too much into it. Let's go to what you have to do. Okay, so all of these points in our fingers, they relate to the planets, right? The planets. It's the reason why they're all separated like that, like the little antennas. You ever think of that? Why your hands are like that? They're separated because they're connected to planetary energies. And then there's these, when you touch each thumb, these are little acupressure points, and they go straight to the brain, right? So they reprogram your brain. So the mantra is the Panshabad, it's called, and it comes from the Bij mantra, Sat Nam. So it's the 5 primal sounds of the universe. Sa-ta-na-ma, Sa-ta-na-ma. Infinity, life, death, rebirth. Infinity, life, death, rebirth. It's the cycles of creation. Okay? I know, I love this too. This is one of my favorites. I can't tell you the number of times I did it for 40 days and 90 days. And I go by my intuition, and my intuition is do it again. Do Kirtan Kriya again. Okay. So you're going to, as you chant Sa, you bring your thumb and index finger together, and then the corresponding finger. So Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. So the people that are going to listen to this on the podcast, it's Sa, the index finger and thumb together, Ta, the middle finger and thumb together, Na, the ring finger and thumb together, and then pinky finger and thumb together when you chant Sa, Ta, Na, Sa, Ma. Okay, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Okay. So bring your hands down. And so we're going to chant out loud, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And then it will shift to a whisper, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And then silence, and you're still doing the finger movements, but you're mentally vibrating Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Right? And your focus is at your third eye the whole time. Okay? And then we go back to a whisper and then out loud. Okay, so everybody, nice straight spine. And we'll begin. I just need to get my thing. So you're following me. Okay. No visualization. I just want to keep it simple, but keep your focus at your third eye. Okay. Okay, let's go. So inhale to begin. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. 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 Now whisper. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, 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 Ta, Na, Ma. And now silent and still doing the finger movement and still mentally vibrating Sata Nama. Sa ta na ma. 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 Sa ta na Satanoma, 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 Satanoma. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. And exhale. And still with your eyes closed, relax your hands on your lap. And just feel yourself. Breathing long and deep only through the nostrils, all the way down to the belly. And just let your body relax. It's your body that needs to feel safe on this planet, not your mind, but your body. The dolphin also relates to our breath, how we can alter our consciousness just with our breath. So breathing long and deep, inhaling light and exhaling darkness, the darkness of the ego, the fear of the ego. And feel all that tension leave your body on the exhale. So breathing slowly. For 10 seconds, inhale, hold for 10 seconds, and exhale for 10 seconds. And feel your consciousness elevating as you breathe long and deep. Transcending the shadow. That's why we're here, to transcend the fear and move into love. Always choosing love each and every moment. And just ask your intuition how to best nourish myself. How can I nourish myself, nourish my soul in a real way? What's my soul longing for? Could be as simple just resting, right? Sitting in quiet for 5 minutes. Now feel yourself part of that pod mind, the human pod mind. And who needs my help right now? Whoever pops into your head, you want to reach out to them. It can be simple as a text or an email or a phone call. Just say, hey, how are you doing? I was thinking about you. It's all you have to put And with that comes your energy of consideration, right? Caring for others. And this is the start of giving. It can be as simple as that. Giving a little text, a little email, a little message to someone. And now consciously receive. Feel yourself receiving from the collective, from the pod mind. So letting go of all the shadow patterns of I'm not worthy, right? I have no self-worth. I have no value. I have nothing to give. That's all nonsense of the shadow and the ego. And just transcend that shadow and receive. I'm a child of God. I receive all good things. I receive good things so that I can give good things. And now begin to send this energy to everybody on the call right now, everyone who will be listening to this in the future. Consciously give that energy, only wishing the best for everyone. And now receive the blessing yourself. And now let's send this out to the world. And all the sentient beings in the world and the planet. And inhale. And exhale. Okay. So thank you everybody for coming on the call. And just to recap, the free How to Be Your Own Best Friend webinar, totally free. You just go to CATALYSTYOGI.com. You'll see it on the front page. You click it, and that will shoot you off to Shadow Astrology, where you'll see it right there. So the Shadow Astrology is still a work in progress, right? I'm still getting content up. I'm really excited about the content because I'm really, one of my gifts is simplicity. So I'm really streamlining my language and stuff. And I'm liking this challenge of simplifying complex spiritual concepts, right? And the other thing is the Emotional Freedom Program has been bumped a week. So it starts on the 27th. That's all the inner child ancestral healing. If you're called to do that, it's like sign up. There's only a few of us so far, so it's going to be good. You're going to have a lot of one-on-one time with me. And then the other thing is my prosperity program, and the group's going to be called the Prosperity Pod, right? Because this 27 is very personal to me. It's in my Mercury and my Mars, conscious Mars, and it's part of my EQ, if you know emotional intelligence. And it's a 6 line, so the 27 is really part of me. So I got to really explore that more deeply. Okay, and I think that's the only announcements. Okay, so continue on, and I'll put a link to the Kirtan Kriya, and that's a free meditation, and that's on my YouTube. But I'll make sure that all these links are below. And watch out for dolphin. Watch out for the dolphin this week. Yeah, and let me know when you see the dolphin. Okay. Thank you. Oh, let's close. So let's bring our hands together, and we'll close with one long Satnam. Inhale deep. Exhale. And inhale to close. Satnam, everybody. Have a good day, evening, wherever you are in the world.